and welcome to another episode of
Cinematorium.
What She Said. I'm looking at the hole this time. I say that every time.
Yes.
That's a new thing.
Who are you?
I'm Joel. I'm Joel.
I'm Laura.
And we are the Newly Deads.
Yes.
And we are here to discuss last night's Joe Bob's Ghoultide get-together, in which he watched two films, one of which we had not seen, which we'll talk about here, and one which we had seen that we will not talk about because we've seen it several times and it's not anything new to talk about.
Yes.
I've done a review on it before, but I'd have to find that. It's on the old Creepercast.
I like
site.
it. I like the second one, Christmas horror.
Yeah, the second one was a Christmas horror story. It's an anthology film, and
I'm always a fan of anthologies.
it's quite well done. We've watched it almost every year since I've met you, and I watched it before that.
Yeah.
And introduced it to my youngest, who enjoyed it. And if you haven't seen it, Christmas Horror Story, it's on Shudder. Check it out.
It's got all of the things.
All of the things, literally, like
Mhm.
almost all of the things,
Mm-hmm.
and some inappropriate things.
And some things that don't really go with Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they try and tie it in, but it's a little loose.
Very loose.
The school thing.
But we're not here to talk about that.
No.
What are we here to talk about?
We're here to talk about the sleazy classic Don't Open Till Christmas. A film that is from the...
1984.
Yep, it's English. Takes place in like Piccadilly
Just looking
Circus
at it on my
and on and around
Scotland
London.
Yard.
Yeah, New Scotland Yard. It's a big feature of it. It had 4 different directors. It's loosely tied in with the fine folks that gave us the amazing film Pieces. Some of the same cast, some of the same, I think one of the writer, director, producer, something. There's some Pieces crossover,
Yeah.
which I introduced Laura to Pieces, and she's a fan now.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked Pieces.
Um,
But yeah, it was directed by like 4 different people, I think Joe Bob said.
Yep.
But if you look at the interwebs, it says that the main director is Edmund Parham.
yeah, it's got a long storied past. There's a recent release that came out on Vinegar Syndrome that's sitting over there on the shelf that I'd like to go through all the special features, but there is a ton of backstory that is supposedly even more interesting than the film itself, which the film itself is kind of like a cross between Pieces, Maniac, and a reverse not Nightmare Before Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Whoops, wrong movie.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Which,
Yeah. I mean, basically, if you read the synopsis of the story, it's somebody is hunting and killing Santa Clauses,
Lots
in
of stabbing.
London. And that's what happens.
Which Silent Night, Deadly Night is about a killer Santa killing people that aren't Santa. This is about
A person.
killing Santas.
Yes. And
All the Santas.
yes.
And extra people too.
Extra people also.
And
But
apparently-
yeah, don't be wearing a Santa outfit anywhere. Like, you could put it on for 5 minutes and then be murdered.
Don't go anywhere near a peep show booth either, even if
No.
you're not dressed as Santa, because you might get kidnapped. Don't know how that happened or why, but
Yes.
it did.
It's because they had so many directors, I think. They just didn't know where to go with it after a while.
It's kind of what I would refer to as a who cares who done it.
Yeah. It was a very disjointed plot.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of, I think the sleazy masterpiece maybe is a little overstated. It's not that sleazy.
It's not that masterpiece-ish.
It's fun. It does remind me a lot in terms of like the Pieces vibe, where there's a lot of killing. It's a lot of kind of quick. I mean, I think
Cuts.
in the first 10 minutes we had 4 people already dead, and like there was this much plot and this much murder,
Yeah.
which in a horror movie, isn't necessarily a bad thing, but after a while you're like, I would like a little bit of plot,
Yes.
not a cemetery plot.
It's not very highly rated on the interwebs either. I think it was like 4 stars.
Yeah, I think it's in the middle 4s, I think. I mean, it's something I hadn't seen before, and you obviously hadn't seen before either. It's our first time viewing it, and I'm glad it's on the shelf over there. I would actually watch it again, I think. once I know more about it, I think it'll be a little bit more interesting to kind of go back and revisit it next year or the year after.
Yeah, I'm glad we watched it during Joe Bob because he does a lot of backstory and explains the ins and outs of the filmmaking process and like all the actors and some of the tragic stories of some of the actors, sure. And how they like ultimately like met their demise down the road because this is the 80s or whatever.
In front of a train.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff. So if you've never watched Joe Bob, I highly recommend checking it out on Shudder.
Shudder, yeah. All of his stuff is on Shudder. There's a few films that
Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs and
are now gone.
Darcy the Mail Girl.
And Yuki and
yeah,
John Brennan and there's some of the films that are gone now. So there's a couple of holes missing just due to licensing issues. But he's one of those guys that he's kind of like I feel like I've always been as well, is he enjoys the kind of exploitation and the low budget, the stuff that kind of gets tossed aside, but he doesn't necessarily make fun of it per se. I mean,
he jokes around about some of the stuff because it's like some of the stuff in these movies is ridiculous, like ridiculously over the top or like ridiculously overacted or ridiculously shot, whatever.
There's a lot of stuff
gratuitous everything. There's always like lots of foo.
Lots of gratuity in this film.
Yes.
Lots of gratuity.
Yeah.
And when you hear about the people that they had starring in the film, kind of makes a little more sense.
Yes.
Why there are some gratuitous things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's got a deep appreciation for hence the the Last Drive-In moniker, as do I. So I'm a big fan, and it's my happy place when we're sitting here watching Joe Bob and spending 6 hours watching 2 movies.
It's a long night, but last night was even like I felt like better because it was a whole Christmas thing, and they were doing fake commercials in between, which were hilarious for like because they were raising money for different charities, which was really cool. And he explained why he like chose each different charity and like what they do in the communities, and
he tried to get a good cross section of animals, kids, the elderly, and
women.
4 different charities. That's still going on, by the way, at Ghoultide Celebration.com, I think it is, or something like that.
Ghoultide something.
I just have it. I was looking for my phone, but it's right there. You can go bid on the stuff. If you're already a fan, you already know all this probably. But
Gathering?
Ghoultide Get Together? This is fine YouTubing right here.
I don't have my glasses on. Phone.
See, and I had it pulled up on my phone. It's GhoultideGetTogether.com. It's the name of the show last night. Just it's a .com. Or if you just go to Joe Bob's main site or on his Facebook page, there's a link to it there, I believe, as well. But by the time you probably see this, it may be already closed out. I'm not sure. So anyway, it was a fun experience. Taking that aside, as a film, it's a little rough, based on the kind of difficulty it had, which always lends itself to kind of a strange watching experience. But I feel like they kind of did the best with what they had.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'd watch it again. It's not Pieces, what is.
I don't know if I'd watch it again.
But I feel like at some point, especially after watching the backstory.
If you wanted to watch it, and we were like wrapping presents, and I was able to do something else besides just focus on that for
an hour and a half.
Yeah.
A lot of stabbing, a lot of Santa, a lot of red, boobs.
Lots of boobs.
And one unfortunate. We'll leave it at that.
Bobbit.
Well, yeah, I don't want to get. We have to get monetized to get demonetized. So
that's why I just said Bobbit.
But yeah, we'll cut it out. Anyway, so out of 5, what are we calling it for the 5?
Santas. No, wait, did we already do Santas? Yeah, we did Mall Santas last time.
Ho ho ho! Which, by the way, they had a trailer for
Peep Show.
Christmas Bloody Christmas. During the in between the first movie and the second movie, because they always give you a chance to get up and go to the bathroom and stuff. And boy, that trailer made it look fantastic. like just some small touches, small changes to it. I was like, wow, that would have been a much better movie. But
Yeah.
too late for that.
Yep.
Sorry, Joe Bigos. I like VFW. Anyway, 5. What'd you say? 5 peep shows? Okay.
I mean, that was part of the movie.
It was. It was actually.
You could do out of 5 peep shows,
Oh,
or
that's fine.
yeah.
We'll go with that. Why
Okay.
not? Because one of the main plot lines comes from the peep show, so. Oh wait, am I going first or you going first?
you
Okay,
can
I'm
go
going
first.
So for Don't Open Until Christmas, which incidentally, oh real quick, the biggest thing that reminds me of Pieces, aside from the fact that the Dean is one of the main characters in this, playing the guy from New Scotland Yard, the ending, which like Pieces, has an ending that makes you go, what? And you have to rewind it.
Yeah, it was weird.
This had an ending where you went,
It was very odd.
what? And
It didn't really make much sense.
it's kind of abrupt. But anyway, I just had to bring that up because I just remembered it as I was about to give a rating. So I think 2 out of 5 is fair.
I'm gonna go with 1.
Ouch.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Santa's not very happy about that.
No. Sorry, Santa. Are you Santa?
No, but my youngest kid is aspiring to be Santa Claus.
That
One of
is
his life goals. So,
like the actual Santa.
like the actual Santa. So we have one more week of Cinematorium. Next week is the Christmas weekend, and so I don't know I think we're going to watch Santa Claus versus the Devil. I forget what it's actually called.
It's right there.
Um,
Do you want me to grab it?
It's just says Santa Claus on there. I think there's a little bit more to the title. It's a cult classic. If you've ever watched Mystery Science Theater 3000, they did an episode on it, and our good friend Josh donated to the cause. He said, here, I think you guys will dig this.
Thank you, Josh.
So we've been putting it off. We were going to watch it this week, but when the Joe Bob thing came up, we were like, oh yeah, we have to watch that. Joe Bob always takes precedence. Unless we got other things going on.
Yeah, we love Joe Bob.
So we did that instead. But I wanted to watch it since he was kind enough to give it to us, and I wanted to make sure and give him credit. So anyway, that will be next week's film, so look forward to that. And for Cinematorium, I am Joel.
I'm Laura.
We are the Newly Deads. Check us out at thenewlydeads.com. She always points where it's at. And we'll see you in the next one.